Okay, guys. So I'm going to start not-for-profit making organization. Not-for-profit making organization is all about a company which is making no money. We can't say that company is not making no money. The company is not focused on making profit oriented. So they are also a type of company who handles with cash, but they are not focused on preparing or creating money-minded activities. So now, not-for-profit making organization still they also handle cash in cash. Still, they will have. They might also have cash payment. So we're gonna see how this is recorded. Now, you all remember when we learned on the first few chapters, on chapter 4, chapter 5, we learned certain things called cash book, right? So the same thing applies for not-for-profit organization. Whenever we say cash receipts and payment, the same cash book, we use the same term called cash book whenever we are representing cash receipts and payment. So many students doesn't understand the difference between cash book and cash receipts and payment. Under not-for-profit, for cash book, we say another name called cash receipt and payment. So you need to remember that under not-for-profit making organization, we have a term called cash receipt and payment that is also known as cash book. So whenever cash is increasing in the business, we say it as debit. So in cash receipts and payment account also it's a debit. Whenever you make a payment to someone, it's a credit. In cash and cash receipts and payment account also we say that's credit. Then we have receipts and payment account, cash account. You might see here. You need to find the cash balance and you need to show that cash balance under statement of financial position. So you guys know what is a statement of financial position. Statement of financial position is a balance sheet. So you need to record it under balance sheet. So then you need to prepare another thing to conclude the not-for-profit making organization. The second thing you will prepare is income and expense for the period. So this is what we say income and expenditure statement or income and expenditure account. So then they have normally when we are doing profit and loss statement, you remember in income statement or we say as profit and loss statement, when we do that, we get net profit or net loss. But here in a income and expenditure account, you don't get net profit, you don't get net loss. You get surplus or you get deficit. So you need to understand one particular thing. You might get surplus or you might get deficit. So then you might prepare that surplus or deficit. You might present it under capital as statement of financial position. Then we move on. There are a few more things like sometimes you need to prepare an income statement. Now the problem is certain trading activities. Now you would have learned what is trading activities you will learn. Now you can see my Excel guys. Yeah. Give me a second. Um, Ignore, cancel. Yes. So give me a second, guys. It's a bit loading. Anyway, let's move on to the chart until it's loaded. So it says that external activities are trading activities. Trading activities which we have already done. You remember we did like sales minus cost of sales is the area we say the trading activities. So sometimes you need to prepare income statement, find the net profit and loss, and transfer to the income and expenditure account. Whenever you are doing not-for-profit making organization, the few accounts you need to do is receipts and payment account, how to do a receipt and payment account, how to do income and expenditure account, and how to transfer the profit from income statement towards income and expenditure account. Then we will be seeing how to calculate assets, how to calculate liabilities, and how to calculate accumulated fund. So many students have a doubt, what is this accumulated fund? So they have this doubt, what this accumulated fund is all about. So I explain you accumulated fund is all about when it comes to this particular area, it's all about, we have another name for accumulated fund. That is what we say in accounting term, you would have learned already, capital. So you need to understand one particular thing, guys, that yeah, give us a second. So this is what we say capital. So capital is also known as equity. But in what is it? But in when it comes to not-for-profit organization, we say this particular area we always remind accumulated fund as capital. Why we say it as capital? Because we don't say another term in income and expenditure. For capital, we always need to say capital account. So I hope you remember this particular thing. So with that concern, I'm going to move on to the next part of the content. Yeah. Now let's move on a bit down. I'm using this TG to explain, guys. This is your advanced level TG. So I'm going to go with TG, so it's easy for me to record everything. I didn't prepare it because I feel that this TG is more than enough for you to learn. Anyway, so let's move on to the yeah. Let's move on to the point we want to discuss. Give me a second. Okay, so Organizations that do not have a profit objective is known as not-for-profit objective, not-for-profit organization. Organization whose objective is the welfare and well-being of its members are identified as organizations that do not have profit making as an objective. You might see this type of organization comes under this category: sports clubs, organization, donation societies, youth organization, religious organization, other clubs, etc. The need to maintain account. Even though profit is not an objective, these organizations engage in economic activity. They also obtain fees from members since they engage in economic activities. In order to be able to provide members with accurate information, there's a need to maintain account. So you need to understand one particular thing, guys. When it comes to maintaining accounts, these type of organizations need to have enough. They need to have enough money to run this organization, because without money, any organization cannot run. So for that, they collect something called membership fees, or we say the subscription fees. It's a one-time payment for particular month, or it might be a particular payment for the particular year. They collect this money, or even donations. So this they collect these money and they will run the organization. Accounts and reports prepared by organizations that do not have a profit objective. You might see these are the accounts we're going to prepare in future: cash account, membership fees account, income statement, statement of financial position, preparing income statement to calculate the results of external activities. Since the main source of income of organizations that do not have profit as an objective, its membership fee is necessary to maintain a membership fees account. The following can be stated as the information incorporated in the membership fees account. So they are saying, since they don't have enough money to run the organization, they need to have membership fees in order to record. So now you might see here, you might see as the at the beginning of the year, you might feel you might have unpaid subscription fees, or some people haven't paid you, or you might see that prepaid subscription fees. Some people have paid in advance. At the end of the year, you might see unpaid subscription fee. Like at the year in, you don't somehow someone has not paid, and prepaid subscription fees. Some people have paid in advance for the next year. Subscription fees received during the year, the money you have received for the particular year, and subscription fees in respect of the current year. So how much you should receive in the particular year, how much you receive in total. Because in this total, you might have this unpaid subscription fees also has paid, but you can only consider subscription fee for the current year under income state, income and expenditure account. So I'm going to explain these type of terms one by one. You might see here. I'm going to do a sum after that. But before that, yeah, before that, I'm going to give certain things notes to write, guys. Then after that, we'll be able to move on to the next part. Okay. What is a cash account, or we say as receipts and payments account? The monetary values received by the organization and paid out by the organization during the period are summarized and entered in the account known as the cash account. This is prepared on a cash basis. So what they're actually saying, whenever you are receiving money, you should consider it as a cash account. Debit that particular amount you are receiving as receipts. And whenever you are making payment, you need to consider it as credit. That's what they are saying. Then we move on next part, income statement or income and expenditure account. The document prepared with the income and expenditure for the period is the income statement. This is prepared on the accrual basis. The result is identified as a surplus or deficit. Where the income for the period exceeds the expenditure, this is known as surplus. When the surplus is collected over a period, it is known as accumulated fund. Now, this question has been discussed in your exams. They might ask, what's the difference between a surplus and accumulated fund? So, surplus is about the money you have earned after spending your expenditures in a not-for-profit organization. So, the money which is excessively left after spending on expenditure, that's known as surplus. So, when you add all the surplus to a particular number of years, you will get accumulated fund. If the income received during the period is less than the expenditure incurred, then the result is called a deficit. So when you're earning income, your income is lower than your expenditure. Then we consider it as a deficit. Okay, guys. Then you move on next part. Accumulated fund. This will increase with the surplus and decrease with the deficit. On a given date, the total liabilities will be deducted from total assets to arrive at the figure for the accumulated fund. So you need to add all your surplus in order to make an accumulated fund. If you wanted to reduce the accumulated fund, you need to make deficit. And of course, after that, you will be able to. But you must see the total liabilities will be deducted from total asset to arrive at the figure for the accumulated fund. Sometimes, if the examiner doesn't give the accumulated fund, you take, you know the formula, right, guys? So let's move on. Today internet is a bit slow and it's not steady with the network. Anyway, so let's move on. Yeah. The dialogue network is not working that great. I don't know why. Is that? Anyways, let's move on to the content. Super slow, guys. Super slow. Okay, anyway. So now, what is accumulate fund? As I have taught you guys, we learned the basic formula, right? You all remember we learned formula called asset is equal capital plus liability. We all remember this formula, right? The basic formula. I don't know why it's happening at a stretch. Anyway, we'll move on. So when we are taking your asset is equal capital plus liability, uh, now capital we don't know means what we will do. We'll take our asset and deduct the liability, right? This is what we will do. So asset minus liability will give you capital. You all know this. But why I'm writing the same thing which you all know, this is also known as accumulated fund. Accumulated fund. Okay, so that's what we say. So normally in exams, you might not expect, you might not receive the things what you might expect examiners will give. Actually, they might sometimes give accumulated fund, and they might ask, they might not give accumulated fund, but they might ask to find out the accumulated fund. When you take asset, deduct your liability, then find your accumulated fund. Now, what's external activities? To fulfill this organized objective of growth and development of organizations that do not have profit as an objective. Besides its main objective, it may engage in other activities that are more profit motivated. So, what are the ways they will be concerned? Now, they are not going to take money from the people, but they might take other ways to collect money. They might carry a canteen and collect some cash profits. They might conduct sports competition and get some prize fees. They might also have some exhibitions like dancing and exhibition, and they will collect some money to take the organization forward. The result of these events must be calculated, separated, and included in the income statement. So you need to carry out these sums one by one. Now, for example, if you run a canteen, you need to do a trading account, find the profit, then transfer that amount to income and expenditure. If you conduct a sports competition, again, you need to calculate the profit, then you need to transfer to income and expenditure. Again, if you have dance and exhibition event and you earn a profit, you need to transfer that to the income statement. Then we have life membership fees. Payments from members who become life members by making a once and for all payment for membership fees for the lifetime are known as life membership fees. Since this is a one-time payment, some amount as decided by the society will be considered as income for the year with the remainder very often being maintained in a separate fund for distribution for future years. So in easy way, in easy term, if I say guys, lifetime membership is one-time payment to become a member of an organization. Why they are saying that sometimes they need to show the remainder. Now you need to be very speculative at this point. When I read this as income for the year remainder very often being maintained in a separate fund for distribution for futures. Now, for example, if you join a club, okay, I'm gonna show you an example how it looks like, guys. Okay, so if you join a club, let me take my mouse. Maybe you pay subscription worth 100,000. Okay. So according to the firm, one time payment. So 100,000. 1 year they always take from a member only 1,000 subscription. So one per member annual charge. Okay. Now per member gets only 1,000 rupees for one particular year when they are getting subscription. Now my concern, if this person has paid 100,000, if you have paid 100,000, how do we record this under income statement, income and expenditure, and how much we need to show it under balance sheet? Now, because you have received 1 million, it doesn't mean that you need to take the entire thing under income and expenditure account. So you will take only from this particular 100,000. What will go to income and expenditure account? Only 1,000 rupees. Why is that? The 1,000 rupees only will be shown. Now, for example, if I take income and expenditure account, I'll go and show it, guys, and extract. Now, how an income and expenditure will look like this way. So I'm going to show an extract how it looks like. Okay. So sorry. Just have a look on what I'm doing. If I take this as income and expenditure, you will show only on this amount, example 1,000 as subscription. You will write here income. You don't have cost of sales, guys. So this income expenditure expense will come down. So nothing I have given to write under expense. Now subscription is 1,000 because that is the amount which is particularly you take that particular year. Now if I go with the balance sheet, okay, if I'm going to draw a balance sheet, for example, when I'm going to take the same account, so easy for me to copy it down. I write draw here, guys. Okay. So now if I take balance sheet, how it looks like. Okay. So now I will write here under, now this is an extract I'm drawing. I'm not drawing the entire thing. I'm just doing the extract. So I will show it under current liabilities. How much the balance you need to pay? 99,000. Why is that? Now I will go deep. I will divide in non-current liabilities later. For now, have this knowledge. Why did I took 99,000 as current liabilities? Because one day. Now this is not 1 year payment, so you need to take only current liabilities. Also next year's amount. I show 1,000 here, and on the non-current liabilities, I will show. See how I show. I'll show 98,000. Now what did I do actually? I took 1,000 from the 100,000 here. 100,000. I took 1,000 for income and expenditure, which means 1,000 we have taken from his balance of account, and 1,000 we will be taking next year. So like subscription prepaid, right? They have paid is paid entirely prepaid. And then the same subscription prepaid will come under non-current liability saying 98,000. Now the actual thing what I really found was I got this 98,000 come down. I actually got one particular thing in my mind. 1,000 was something which I need to take from next year. So I'll show it under current liability. And 98,000, give me a second, guys. I should take it on the next year. So we will be considering, upcoming years. That's the reason we are considering it under non-current liabilities. What is donation? Donation means the money the business gets from members, or something which is given free for the club because they are doing something great, and
Sir, lagging.
People love to give something great to the people actually who are doing something good for the society. Normally when it comes to donation, it's something which is getting in general among the environment. Donations are not-for-profit organizations often receive various types of donations. These donations can be classified into two categories as general donations and special donations. General donations are the ones that support the daily activities of the organization. Accounting for general donations. They are given normal type of donations are known as general donations. So whenever you get donation, cash account debit, the relevant donation account is an income, so it's credit. That is, general donations are recorded as income for the current year. If the donation received is for specific purpose, then it can be identified as special donation. We can take an example of motor vehicle valued at rupees 20 lakhs. Such a special donation is not usually taken as an income for the current year. Therefore, as per this example, this donation can be accounted for as follows. Now, this motor vehicle is not cash. We are taking as motor vehicle. So, I will deposit this in motor vehicle account, debit, and I will credit this in donations account, credit. Proportionate portions of the balance in the donations account can be taken as income for the year. This is a decision that must be taken by the management of the organization in this manner when a portion is taken as an income. So from the entire donation, sometimes the business only takes certain money for the business. They might say 10% of the donation was only taken for the particular year, or 20% was only received. Then of course you need to show only that particular portion under donations account debit, income and expenditure account credit. This when I am doing the sum, you will be understanding, because we are going to do a sum, completing everything what we are learning. The balance in the donation account must be shown below the accumulated fund balance in the statement financial position. So under capital, you need to show donations under accumulated fund under financial position. Then we are going to move on to the sum. You might see the sum. The receipts and payment of Sumaga Welfare Society for the year ending 2007, 3/31st as follows. So let me read these narrations. Then after I will be giving this question to do. Cash in hand on 2016 for first was 50,000. Membership fees was 50,000. Candidate received 100,000. Live membership fees 60,000. Joining fees 2,000. From higher up assets 55,000. Maintenance fee 20,000. Food for the canteen 60,000. Telephone charges 10,000. Employee wages 70,000. Stationery 15,000. Candidate expense 8,000. Printing expense 10,000. Newspaper 2,000. Sports expenses 12,000. Repayment of bank loan 20,000. Balance on 2017 third 31st is 108,000. Then if you see balance as at 2016 for first, these are the opening balance they have. Buildings 100,000, sports ground 250,000, furniture 50,000, and bank loan 200,000. Other information they are given. When the live membership scheme commenced on 2016 for first, a sum of rupees 40,000 was recognized as an income for the year. Then when the joining fee only rupees 2,000 is recognized as an income for the year. I'll explain one of these one by one, guys. The annual membership fee is rupees 1,000. The number of members as at 31st 3rd 2013 is 50. During the current year, while 50 new members were enrolled, 5 of them were live members. The live membership fees is rupees 12,000 each. The membership fees received include 7,000 in respect of the year 2015 and 16, and rupees 5,000 in respect of 2017 and 18. While the food stock in the canteen as at 2016-14 for 2001st was rupees 12,000, there was a stock of rupees 10,000 as at 2007 31st. As on that day, the value of furniture had decreased by 10%. Of the total wages, 20% is in respect of the canteen staff. Let us prepare the following for the year ended 31st 12 2007 31st. Membership fees account, result of the external activities, income statement, accumulated fund as at 2016 first, statement of financial position as at 2007 31st. Guys, this sum is including everything what your examiner will request in your main exam. This sum, everything it is covering almost. So when we have done this sum, you will have overall knowledge to do past papers. Rather than sticking into the past paper now, let's finish this sum, then we can stick into the past paper. So for that, you need to copy this down fast as possible. So I'm going to draw these few details. So I'm going to draw membership fees account. Then I'm going to draw results of external activities, income statement, accumulated fund, and statement of financial position. As they have asked this thing, I need to do it. So I'm going to draw the format. Once I draw the format, we'll be able to do the sum together. Possible, guys. You might see here cash account and receipts payment account. I'm going to open up a account called membership fees account. So how I'm going to record this? You need to know what are things we will be taking into membership fees account first of all. Membership fees account is also known as subscription account. You can use subscription account also, but as I use membership fees account, better you use membership fees account. In cash account, if it is membership fees is 50,000, you can see this visible 50,000. So I will take this 50,000 under membership account as credit side. First of all, you need to open up all these accounts first of all. So I'm gonna take here on the credit side. I'm gonna zoom a bit so to have a good overview on what I'm gonna do. So under membership fee, I'm gonna take under receipt and payment. I can also say receipt and payment or cash. Let us say that the receipt and payment. And what's the amount I'm gonna take on receipt and payment? 50,000 on the credit side. So after taking this 50,000 on the credit side, I'm gonna move on to the sum again. So see, is there any other memberships related to this particular year? You all already learned accrued and prepayments, right? So when it comes to accrued expense, it's current liability. Accrued income, current asset. Prepaid expense, current asset. Prepaid income is current liability. You need to know these four type of things very carefully because we already learned this. I taught you something called Magic Box. In Magic Box, I taught you what would happen to profit and loss and balance sheet. And I also said that accrued expense is a current liability. Now, if here I'm not going to speak about expense here, I'm speaking about income and income related to subscription account. So now this income is accrued income or prepaid income, which we are going to speak about. So if it is a prepaid income, it's a current liability. Current liability means opening balance will be always on the credit side. And if it is a accrued income, it's a current asset. Opening balance will always be on the debit side. So this thing you need to have in your mind when you're doing this. I'm going to ignore the first one because this is live membership. They're not speaking about membership. Second thing is joining fee. I'm not going to move on. I'm going to directly move on to some. The annual membership fee is rupees 1,000. The number of members as at 31st 3rd 2017 is 50. This is the current day while 15 new members were enrolled. 5 of them were live members. The live membership fee is rupees 12,000 each. The membership fees received includes 7,000 in respect of the year 2015-16. So 2015-16 means it's the past year, 1 year before, because this 2017 year. You might see that we are preparing the accounts for 2017 3rd 31st. So this is 2016 and 17. Actually, so what happened? 2015-16 is something which you need to receive, but you didn't receive. But now that money should be shown as a brought forward. How do you show? It's an accrued income. How do they find it's an accrued income, guys? The reason it's the money which we should receive. Here, I'm going to mark here. So this is the money which we should receive last year, but we are receiving only this year. So if a money has to be received this year or the last year, it's an accrued income. Then I'm going to take accrued income under membership fee account on the debit side, saying brought forward is 7,000. So after recording this 7,000, I'm again moving on to the sum. I'm not yet done. I have a few more things to read. And rupees 5,000 in respect of 2017 and 2018. So they're saying that this 5,000 has been prepaid, right? So if it is prepaid for the next year, then of course, where it will come. Now this should be a carried down balance. The reason we are paying it the next year. If you pay it in the next year, you can't bring it as brought forward. You need to consider it as carried down. So if you are paying it in next year, for example, you are making a prepayment, I'm going to record it on the debit side or credit side when I ask, brought forward for the next year should be 5,000, right? Because they're saying next year, we are paying for next year, brought forward 5,000. The reason why I took brought forward 5,000 on the credit side, because this 5,000 is a prepaid amount which we have made from this year to the next year. But here is the carry down which will come this year. Particularly, they have made a brought forward amount. They have made a payment for the next year 5,000. I'm going to give a total. Just listen, guys. And after I'll explain you entire thing. First, focus on what I'm doing. Now, you might see here, actually, I got this total column here. So this is a separation for the next month, for the next year, sorry. So now the concern is if you make a payment, if you receive a payment from the last year, that's an accrued income. Now this accrued income, you can't ask what is accrued income, how accrued income comes debit. These we have studied under prudence concept and also under accruals concept. I explained your accruals properly and the prepayments also I taught you properly. So you can't ask this question when I'm doing this particular area. If you want to be thorough on that, you need to know accruals when you're doing this particular sum. Without accruals, you can't pass income and expenditure sums in a greater manner. So now here, this 7,000 is a money which they are paid, should be payable last year, but we haven't received it. So now this is debit means normally on last year it should have been credit. That's the reason it should be debit now. Now here they are saying they are making a payment advance for the next year. So when you pay for the next year, you can't take directly to the brought forward on the credit side. You need to show it on the debit side, the carry down or carried forward, and you will show brought forward on the debit side. What is representing on the debit side? When brought forward is represented on the debit side, it is prepaid income. So we are showing the prepaid income here. Not only done, not yet done. I'm not yet done with the sum. Still, I'm moving on to the particular sum. I'll explain you entirely properly. You might see here the annual membership fee is rupees 1,000. The number of members as at 31st 2017 is 50, which means for the particular entirely for the particular year, how many members are there? 50 members are there on your club. But they're saying that 15 new members were enrolled. So this year, 15 new members are enrolled. But still, with that 15 members, the amount is 50. You need to understand that particular thing. After adding this 15 only, your amount is 50 because they are giving 31st 3rd 2017 the year. Particular says that this is happening before this particular date. But see, the examiner is confusing you. First, they give the number of people who are there. So if I am a student, I will think, okay, there are 50 new members are getting enrolled. No, guys, they are saying again a term. They are confusing you during the current year while 15 new members were enrolled, 5 of them were life members. So I will consider, okay, except this 5, all other from this 15, except this 5, only 5 are life members. So I will take 50 members. In that 5 members is life members. Okay, 5 life members. So I'll say life members LM. Now these 50 members are included of these 15 members also. So these 15 members are also in under these 15 members. That's what the examiner is confusing you here. So when I read this again, you'll understand the number of members as at 31st 3 2017 is 50. So this is 50 members, and they are saying during the current year, while 15 new members were enrolled. So this 15 has been enrolled for that particular year. That's the reason they are giving the year end balance 50. So this 15 is included within this 50. Then they have 5 life members. Life membership fee is rupees 12,000. Now I can't take life membership fee under membership fee account. Life membership fee is different. Membership fee is different. So I need to know how many people are there in my membership account. So in 50, if I deduct 5 people, life members, I'll exclude them. And I have 45 members in my club. Right, guys? Now, after getting this 45 members, I'm not yet done, guys. Focus in this very particular, very important. So now this 45 members is paying 1,000 rupees per head. Now you might see here, they are paying 1,000 per head. So one member is paying 45,000 means then 45 members are paying how much? I need to calculate. So 45 members will pay 45 into 1,000. So this is the amount which will go to income and expenditure, 45,000. Now this amount 45,000, I'm going to take into my membership account. After I write, you can ask these questions. 45,000, sorry, 45,000 saying income and expenditure. Or you can also say income statement. Okay, fine. Don't write short terms in your exams. Examiner hates short term words. So you need to be very, concerned when you're writing. Now I have explained to you how this amount has come, but you might see here the total this on the credit debit side is 57,000. But it's an income account. You can't keep the balance 57,000 here. So there's a balance, which means now here there's 50,000. So there's a balance of 7,000. That balance is what we say carried forward for the next particular year, and that carried forward will come on the debit side, brought forward 7,000. Now you need to be very concerned, guys. Now this 7,000 is the next year's accrued expense. This 5,000 is the next year's accrued income. This so 5,000 is the next year's prepaid income. I hope you guys understood. Now you can ask me the questions. So I'm going to calculate the second one. Second one, results from the external activities. How do we know there's external activities? I can see that there should be a donation, a canteen or a club, or a t-shirt selling point, something the club will be having, some sort of base like exhibition, dancing festival, something they will keep now to collect. So let's see what is there they have used in this particular sum to collect some money from the membership fees, members from the members. Now let's move on to the point. You might see now when I see this cash, this account receipts and payment, I can find out I have cash canteen receipt. So I said that canteen can be a part of a income generated thing. Then if I have receipts, I need to have expense also related to canteen. I might have an expense. Yes, I have expense, canteen expense 8,000. Then I have canteen. Is there any other thing? So I have taken canteen. I'm going to move on to the canteen. Is there any other things which speaks about canteen? Information number 5 speaks about canteen. While the full stock in the canteen as of 2016 first opening balance was 12,000, there was a stock of 10,000 as of 2017 31st, and on that day the value of furniture had decreased. So they're speaking about the money they have spent on the canteen. Now you might see in canteen they have purchased food also for canteen, so they have purchases also. So I'm going to move on to the sum, canteen sum. So it's better you write a topic called canteen income statement, or you can also write canteen income statement as a 31st 3rd 2000. Right. So after recording this, I'm going to move on to canteen's receipt. You all know the canteen's receipts is given, right? So I'm going to take the canteen's receipts first. The first amount I'm going to take from this receipt and payment. First of all, always remember, guys, when you're doing the sum, most of the time when I go with company's account, I always go with the additional information. Partnership, I go with additional information. OL analysis, I go with additional information. Any sum I do, I go with additional information. But except for income and expenditure, I don't go with additional information. I go with directly with the sum. Then only you will not miss the accurate part. Now here they are given canteen received 100,000. So I'm going to move on to my canteen income statement, and I'm going to write canteen. I can write canteen income or canteen receipt. Both are same, guys. Canteen income, I got 100,000, so I'll write 100,000. Then I have canteen cost of sales. Now this is a trading account I'm actually putting. So canteen cost of sales. How do I take cost of sales? You have opening stock, right? Opening stock plus purchases plus closing stock. This is how you find your amounts. Now after recording this, I'm going to move on to my canteen cost of sales and find out. They are already given the purchase. You might say food for canteen. So this is our actual purchase, 60,000. So I'm going to take the 60,000 actually as purchases. First of all, I'll move on to my I'll move on to my sum and consider 60,000 as my purchase. So I'll record 60,000 as my purchase. Once I recorded 60,000, I need to calculate the opening stock as well as the closing stock. Now moving on to the additional information, find out the opening stock. How much is the opening stock balance? 12,000 opening stock because they say 2016 first, and closing stock they have said 10,000 on 2017 31. The dates I can find is opening and closing. So I'll write in opening stock 12,000 and in closing stock I got 10,000. Right. So I hope you guys will write the same. Do it fast, guys. Yeah. So I'm going to do the sum. We have few more things to do in the sum. Now we have done the opening stock and closing stock. I have few more things to do. What is that? I have canteen expenses to take, and also I have I saw something relevant to canteen. But first we'll finish the receipt and payment. Now here you have a balance of how much. Here you get a balance and the cost of sales. You can do in this particular sheet itself. You might see my screen is a bit loading, so I want you guys to be a bit patient. See here, 12,000 plus 60,000 is 72,000. Actually, this is a minus figure. So I'll put it as in brackets because closing stock is minus. So I will deduct this 10,000 and I will get a value of 62,000. Now I'm not yet done, guys. According to the sum, I need to have a balance of 62,000. But now, normally when I'm doing, remember guys, this adjustment is very important. Remember earlier when we are doing income statement, we will have income, then we will have other income, then we'll have expenses. But here, when you are finding the particular profit for that income statement, we don't take expense column separately. I can directly put here canteen wages and the cost of sales, guys. I need to do this. So canteen expenses was 8,000, right? So I'll record here 8,000. Then I got few more things. What is that? I need to see that there are some other things related to canteen. So I'm going to read the question again. So I'll come down and I say the total wages 20% is in respect of the canteen staff. They are saying that 20% is related to canteen staff on the payment which is made to the wages. So I'm moving up and seeing how much 20% is being calculated under this particular area. When I calculate wages 20%, you might see here the employee wages is 70,000. 70,000 into 20% will give me how much that. So I will take canteen wages as 70,000, right, into 20%, right? So 20 over 100 will give me a value of 14,000. So I will calculate that also. 14,000. So once I deduct 62,000 minus 8,000 minus 14,000, it's almost 22,000. I get the amount of 40,000, right? Now this is the amount I'm going to deduct from the income statement, of canteen. Because I got 62,000, 8,000 as canteen expense, and canteen wages as 14,000. Guys, I made a small mistake actually. The reason we are considering cost of sales also an expense, so we can't take this as 8,000 minus here. I'll take it's an expense first of all, so I'll take all as expenses fully because we need to deduct this all. Now normally cost of sales is also deduction. Oh guys, I forgot to put that. So this deduction is total. So 62,000 plus 8,000. This is also deduction. This is also deduction. So this all together will be deducted from the income statement, from the profit. So 62 plus 8 is 70 plus 14 is 84,000. I will deduct from the income which we have made. Now I will get the net profit of the canteen. So I can write net profit from the canteen from canteen. So how much is the net profit we are getting? 16,000. So this is the amount which I'm going to transfer to the income statement, or we said as income and expenditure. So please copy it down. We have finished the two necessary requirements. We are almost done with membership fee account. These are of the external activities. I'm going to do the income statement now with you guys. For income statement, I can again go with the receipts and payments details. Always start with this side. You might see this side is the balance you need to take. You don't take the cash in hand amount to the income expenditure, because cash in hand doesn't come under income and expenditure. So let's move on to my income and expenditure. First of all, I'll write a topic called income. I'm going to take all the income which is relevant to this particular income column. So now on the income we found out under receipt and payment what is coming on the receipt and payment debit side is a part of income. So you have membership fees 3,000. So now this membership fees we already found out how much will come to the how much will come to the income and expense to income. How do you take? We will say it as membership fees first of all, and write membership fees. We found this 45,000. So record 45,000 first. Then after that, I will move on to the sum and then find out what's the other way. Like I have recorded the 45,000 here. After recording this, I will move on to the next part. Canteen receipts. We don't take receipts. We take only profits. So you all remember how much profit canteen made. Actually, canteen made a profit of 16,000. So I'll record 16,000 also. Then after that, I will move on to the next part. This is to ensure YMC receipts and payment, because to know the fact like how much I should take. Life membership fees I got 60,000, but I'm not taking 60,000 because I said to you guys a small mistake on this particular sum. I said to you guys to adjust this particular area. On the first one, while the life membership scheme commenced on 2016, a sum of it should not be 40,000, it should be 4,000. So there's a small mistake here. I think they have written it wrong. I don't know. I hope so. So 40,000, and I will write here 4,000. So if you guys also copy this sum, write 4,000. Okay, so life membership fee they have taken under income statement. Then of course they are going to take as an income as 4,000. So I'll take that as an income as 4,000. So I'll write here 4,000 life membership fees. As they are given directly, you can take it. Membership. Then I move on to the next part of the sum. It says that on the sum joining fees is 20,000. There was an adjustment to this joining fees. Let's look to those adjustment. What they have said on this adjustment actually. Here they are saying from the joining fee only 2,000 is recognized as an income. So 20,000 in 20,000 I'm going to take only 2,000 for the income. So I'll take here 2,000 as an income, because they have said only 2,000 means don't take more than that balance. Whatever the balance, you need to show it under liabilities as I showed on the first example. So now 2,000 is how much? This joining fee. So after recording the joining fee, I'm going to move on to the next income. What is the next income we have? From hire of assets, I didn't see any other adjustment, but let's check it again. Do I have any other adjustment related to from hire of assets? I think there's no adjustments on the hire of assets. So I'll keep it as it is. And then I'm going to take the amount. How much is the amount, guys? It's 55,000. So I'll write here 55,000. So after writing, again, after write hire assets, I'm going to move on with my expenses, guys. I take your total income first of all. But the total income, you got 45 plus 16 plus 4 plus 5 is 122,000. So I'll write here 100,000. Then I have expenses to record. I'm going to go a bit down. I'll zoom out. So we'll have a look. So now what are the expenses? I'm going to move on to receipt and payment again to find out what are the expenses the business has made. Maintenance fees is 20,000. So I'm going to take directly this amount. Maintenance fees 20,000. Right. Record as it is on the receipt and payment account. It's so easy that you can record the same thing what is on the statement. It's very easy for us to record everything what is there. Then we have we move on to receipts and payment account. Next part we have telephone charges. I think telephone charges 10,000 is there. So I'm going to write telephone charges here. telephone charges 10,000. So I recorded that also. So after recording telephone charges, I have few more expenses to record. I have employee wages. You might see employee wages 7,000. I can't take 7,000 because already I took 20% out of it. So I need to take only 80% of it, which means employee wages I can take 30,000 into 80% because 20% I took already for under canteen. So 80% means I will take 56,000. Or you can also do like take 70,000 and deduct the amount you have taken 40,000. So even you are getting the same balance. So after recording the wages, I'm moving on to the next part of the student payment account. I'll record here. I see stationery 15,000, so I'll take that out. Stationery 15,000. It's just like taking and putting back. It's very easy. So stationery 15,000. So recording that. Then I move on next part of the sum. I have what do you say? Canteen expenses. I can't take canteen. We already found out. So I have printing expenses 10,000. So I will take printing expenses as 10,000. So what do I have? Printing expenses 10,000. Okay, done. Then what do I have? I have newspapers 2,000 and sports expenses 12,000. So newspaper 2,000 and sports expenses 12,000. Right. So I'm going to move on to the part. Yeah, the next part. Repayment of bank loan is not a part we need to consider actually. That's not something which we consider as an expense. It's a bank loan payment, cash payment. So then I think I'm almost done with the entire thing. So I'll take all my expenses apart. So I'm moving on to the part. But there's something I missed, I think. Found a mistake. I just checked it, guys. Did I miss something? Yeah, I took this. I took this. I took even third adjustment we did. Adjustment number 4 done. Adjustment number 5. Yes, we missed something. What is the thing we missed, guys? We have, as on the day, the value of furniture had decreased by 10%, which means it's depreciation. 10% means what is the total value you had? Buildings 100,000. So 10%, yeah, not buildings, furniture. They are saying furniture is decreased by 10%. So furniture decreased by 10% means it should be 5,000. So I'll record it under income and expenditure account as depreciation 5,000. Right. So let me move on to this account and write here depreciation as 5,000. After recording this, now I'm going to take the total of this and to find out my expense. 130,000. So my expenses is exceeding my revenue. It means it's not good to the business actually. 130,000. So I'll deduct 130,000 from 122,000. So what is the value I will get actually? I'll get a value of surplus, sorry, deficit of 8,000. So I'll write minus 8,000. I'll record here it as deficit. Now this deficit should be transferred to financial question. I'm gonna, before we find out the financial question, they have asked the sum. Find out the accumulated fund. That's what we are going to do now. So yeah, after recording this, we are going to move on to the next part. So for the fourth requirement is accumulated fund as at 2016 for first, and you might see accumulated fund to calculate. You need to get your assets. So this is the opening balances they are given. I'm going to take all these three values which fall under asset, building, sports ground, and furniture. I'm going to move on to my accumulated fund account and to finalize this. So now here I will take my assets. Actually, I'll take up so I can take building, furniture. And also I have one more thing, building, furniture, and what is that one? Sports ground. 250,000. So I'll record that. Sports ground. Furniture 50,000. Building 100,000. I have liabilities also. Bank loan 200,000. I'm not yet done. For the last year, for this particular year balance, brought forward balance, I need to see what is the opening balance of stocks we had actually. The opening stock is the balance I should take as stocks. So I had opening balance of stocks. I remember it's 12,000 worth of stocks I had. Yeah, those stocks I will consider it as the opening balance of the stocks which we are having. It's also a part of stocks because that's last year's closing balance. The stocks were 12,000 we had. Then we are not yet done. We had some outstanding balances which we will receive this year. That outstanding balance also we should be taking because it's an accrued outstanding membership fees. We all remember that we calculated together. That was 7,000 actually. 7,000. How did we calculate? I show you where did we take 7,000. This is the 7,000 I'm speaking about. The membership fees received include 7,000 in respect of the 2016 and 2015-16. So this amount is the accrued income which we took as a brought forward on the debit side. So I will consider it as an asset because we took it on the debit side. Now I'm going to add this whole total 100,000 plus 50,000 plus 250 plus 12 plus 7 will give me a value of 409. Just a second, guys. So the total value will give me a value of 419,000. We have taken everything, but there's one more thing to take. What is the thing we are going to take? This is cash. Cash, we don't know how much was the opening balance, so I'm going to see how much is the cash opening balances. I'm going to go on to the sum and see there was a cash balance of 50,000. So I'm going to take this 50,000 as balance brought forward. So I have a cash of 50,000. So I'll take in total, the whole value will give me a value of 469,000. So I'm going to write 469,000 here and deduct this liabilities to find my accumulated amount. So this is minus 200,000 I will deduct. So once I minus 200,000, I will be getting 269,000. This is the accumulated fund on the beginning of the sum. First for 2000. That easy, guys. So we have found the answer. Now we need to do the balance sheet. Easy one. So I'm going to balance it. Now I'm going to write the. You guys know the three topics: cost, accumulated depreciation, right? And you have the book value. Carrying amount. Either way is correct. Okay. Now I'll take this column, the column, and so I'm going to write here non-current assets. We all know there were three assets actually. I'm going to write the non-current assets. We had building, ports, So guys, yeah. So this 7,000 as accrued expenses. This 7,000 is the brought balance. I will take it on the balance sheet as accrued. So you all know we had only on the when it comes to non-current asset, we had only building, sports ground, and furniture. That's the reason I took this 395,000 like at one cost itself. We had only depreciation for furniture, so I took this 5,000. I deducted. So if you want, you can put a bracket here. And then after that, we took inventory. We took inventory from the opening stock. Opening stock of what? I mean closing stock of canteen stocks. Accrued membership is 7,000. I just showed you where I took this 7,000 from. Then we need to know what is my cash balance, end of the year's cash balance, and then yeah. Please copy this down, guys. Cash is 108,000. We got. How did I get this 108,000? I show you from where I got this 108,000. The final balance of the cash account receipts and payment. This balance only I took for financial position 108,000 on the balance sheet. So after recording this 108,000, I think my current asset is done. So I'll take the total here 10,000, 70,000, 180,000 will give me 125,000. So 125,000 plus 395,000 will give me a value of. So I'm getting a total of actually 400 and 520,000. Now here I will record total assets. Now I have capital, which is accumulated fund to record. We all found accumulated fund on the sum as 269,000. In that I need to deduct one thing. That deduction is what we say as deficit. Yeah. So deficit is 8,000. After recording that deficit, I'm not yet done, guys. So I will get a value of accumulated funds. Actual value will become 261,000 because as I said, accumulated fund can increase by surplus and decrease by deficit. You need to know that particular thing. Then let's move on to the next part of the sum. Now we have non-current liabilities. We have so much of non-current liabilities. What are the non-current liabilities we have? We have considered life membership fees, and we have joining fees. We have taken that money, but we can't take it as capital. We need to give it one day to amount. Now this non-current liability will have few things to record. One is bank loan. In bank loan we had 200,000. We paid 20,000 under cash book. You can see here the bank loan's value. I can show you guys. So here bank loan we are paying 20,000 actually. Here this amount. So then also we have a bank loan of 200,000. We had a bank loan of 200,000 that we are paying 20,000. So 180,000 is your bank loan. Then after recording bank loan, you guys need to know joining fees. We got 20,000, but this 20,000 money has been received in total. We only considered in 20,000, 2,000 on the current liabilities. Life membership fees we got 60,000. Then we took 4,000 only. So I can record here what I'm going to record. I'm going to record joining fee as 20,000. I'll reduce 2,000 because I have excessively earned, or I'll put it under this because that's an excess earning which I have made, and 18,000 I have left over in my hand, and I had a life membership that also is an excess earning the business has made, so they consider it as a profit. Either you can throw it on the life membership fund and current liability, but as joining fee is there, I will consider life membership also under not under capital, but I'm just showing it's an income account, so I'm showing it under the credit side. So now life membership we got 60,000 actually, and we only considered 4,000 on the books of account. So in 60,000, yeah, 4,000 if I deduct, actually I need to consider another 56,000 books of account. Now here I am getting a total of 74,000, so I'll write that value also. So bank loans 180,000 I'll show here. That bank loan value I'll show. I have current liability. They have paid prepayment. So that prepayment I'll write accrued membership fee. So I'll put the topic current liabilities. Right. What is the term? Accrued Outstand, prepaid, not accrued, it's prepaid, guys. Prepaid, advance membership. Another term. We had 5,000 in the accounts. You all remember? At 5,000, I showed you. Take my dot. It's exactly 520. So, total. Okay. Easy as that. So we are done with the sum. I hope you guys understood this term. So please do and practice, guys, as much as possible. This is the way your examiners can test in your exam paper. I have given you everything which is related to an income and expenditure. I have explained you everything from tip to every calculation has been proposed to you, and I have explained how it all came. And please redo it, and when you practice, only you will be able to score better on your exams.